How you doing, folks? Here we are at Round Lake High School, home of the Panthers. And I just want to say, I'm up here today to film our podcast, which is going to feature Remax superstar and president of NAHREP, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. And I'm excited about that. We're going to head over to our office in just a second. But I will say, I am a proud Panther. This is my stomping grounds. Spent a lot of time playing football on that football field over there, and spent a lot of time in the principal's office, somewhere right behind me, and had a lot of fun and hijinks here. And I'm so glad to be back. So looking forward to the interview. Let's go. Okay, so right behind me, we're in Round Lake, Illinois. We're getting ready for our podcast, but right behind me is the Burger King. And so this Burger King was my first official job as a young boy. I was 15 years old. I'd get off or maybe 15, 16. I'd get off my senior year at 11:30, and I'd rush over here to make hamburgers. And I was starving watching these delicious flame-broiled Whoppers come off the grill. And every now and then, this might be confession time, but I'd sneak a Whopper into the bathroom and gobble it down because it was lunchtime and I was hungry. But anyway, that's where I met the demand for hunger in Round Lake, full force. And then right across the street that way is where Remax American Dream is. So, hey, we are so excited. Let's double go. This is Steve Kemp. I'm with the People Not Titles podcast, and we're delighted today to be here with Yvonne Payes. And Yvonne has just began a wonderful career in real estate, and so we're so excited to hear from her. And I want to read a couple of the great achievements, or a few, more than a couple, and then we'll get into our conversation with Yvonne. Yvonne was named the Remax Rising Star in Illinois in 2015. In 2018, Yvonne was named number 43 in the nation, number 9 in the Midwest region, and number 8 millennial agent by NAHREP amongst Latino agents. In 2017, Yvonne stepped up and challenged herself once more by becoming the co-owner of Remax American Dream, and that's where we're at right now.
Yes.
Located in Round Lake Beach, making Yvonne one of the youngest owners in the region. And then Yvonne recently was named Who's Who by Agent Magazine, and she has for the last 4 years, by Chicago Agent Magazine, and Real Trends Top Agent in the Nation, as well as the top 250 Latino agents in the U.S. by the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, NAHREP. Yvonne recently received the highest honor by being inducted into the Remax Hall of Fame. Yes. And a step above the Hall of Fame, Yvonne is a part of the Titan Club of Remax.
Yes.
And that's a difficult thing to achieve. Not many there.
Yes. I'm like tired just hearing it.
Yvonne was also elected as president-elect for the Chicago chapter of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, NAHREP. She's the second woman in Chicago to be voted as president, and the youngest female president in NAHREP nationwide. So is that in the history of NAHREP?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Woo! Well, I think we're out of time.
I'm all sweaty now. That's exhausting. That's yes. a lot of running around in 6 years.
Yes. So we met Yvonne through our great director of sales at Land Trust, Carmen Carbonara, and so we just thank Carmen for connecting us. But thank you, Carmen. Yeah, thank you, Carmen. Carmen's actually here with us. But anyway, Ivane, I want to just ask you, let's talk about the beginning of your real estate career. What, where you grew up, what inspired you to get into real estate, what really impacted you to start you on your journey?
Wow. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And Carmen, thank you for connecting me to Steve. Just want to thank you both again for your time. My real estate career, it actually seems like I just started 6 years ago. I haven't. I've been in real estate for about 12 years. Just was in the back of the business. I am originally from El Salvador, and my family moved to Evanston, so that's where I grew up. I'm originally from Evanston.
So immigrant parents?
Yes,
wow.
Immigrant parents, so first generation here. And we moved to Evanston, like I said, and that's where I grew up and made all of my childhood friends that I'm still friends with till today. And from there, we ended up relocating to Lake County my senior year. They had the great opportunity to buy a home, which was, of course, the American dream. This is why my partner and I named our Remax that. We want to continue to encourage that buying a home, it is the American dream for someone that is not from this country. It's like you've made it. It's a staple for you to own a home.
That's fantastic.
So they decide to move to Lake County, and bad business decision, bad money pit home that they were put into, bad real estate practitioner. They did not educate my parents. My parents sold everything we had back home to buy this house here that was just above their head, went completely underwater. We lost everything. So
how old were you when that happened?
I was 17, 18.
And how old were your parents when they came here?
They were in their mid-30s.
And what inspired them to come here?
Just, we lived very, not a wealthy life, but we lived very comfortably.
In Salvador?
Yes. We had many homes. We had help that lived at home with us. We had cars. It's just political situations happened, and the economy just started to go down. And my father owned a chicken distribution company. And what really just pushed him over the edge was when he started to get death, notes and threat notes that they were going to kidnap me if he didn't give them his brand new Ford Taurus that he had bought like in '89 or something.
No kidding.
So my dad's like, here's the car, don't touch my child, I'm leaving, this is it, we can't be here anymore.
What a dad, what a hero.
So yeah, he's at home I'm taking care of him.
It's paying off.
I am very blessed to say that in a short amount of years, I've actually retired both my parents. And that's my thank you for them coming to this country. It wasn't easy. He came here illegally, across the border, and very, very hard life, very hard situations.
So Ivana, the first thing I'm going to do with this podcast is share it with my daughters and say, see, there's a lady that retired their parents, so let's get started. I'm kidding.
Yes. No, I have to say that it's not for just anyone to do that.
No,
I'm very happy that I've done that. I think my parents have given me so much that it's just a little thank you for them.
What a great,
and of course health issues, so I'm like, if I can take care of them, I'm not going to risk them to go to work if I can take care of them. So
okay, great. So you're 17, your parents lose it all. Let's go forward.
17, life it's funny that sometimes my dad's identity on top of everything gets stolen. So there's another guy using my dad's name. His name is Lionel, and our last name Payes is very, very unique. So it's actually Italian, Sicilian, and it's only some relatives there, and only in El Salvador, the Payeses that are from his hometown, it's all of us. We're all cousins, we're all related somehow. So when we find out that there's another Payes, it's hard to figure that out, because it has to be someone we know, because our last name is very rare. So my dad starts investigating, hires an attorney to help him with this case. Attorney, unfortunately had a situation where, he needed someone to step in. At that point, I'm already at CLC. I started going to college as a senior because I already had exceeded all of my credits when I came from Evanston to Antioch. So I started going to community college as a senior because I didn't need to be in high school anymore. I I already had everything to graduate.
Good for you.
Yeah, so I was a little book nerd.
Okay.
And so my dad ended up getting me an internship at this law firm. Which,
You were a paralegal for a while.
yes, and that's how I got into real estate. And funny story, that's how I met Luigi Corral, who's now my business partner. 19 years old, and he was 29, and that's where we met.
Fantastic. And so, okay, so you're a paralegal. Then when does it start clicking? Hey, I can get my license and I can do this myself.
It didn't click at first, even though everyone was pushing me that I would be great in sales. Short sales were happening, countries falling down.
This is a 2007, 2008 time frame.
2000, yeah, 7, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 5, wait. I'm like,
Yeah.
where are we? In the timeline, 7, 8, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm doing, I'm 19 years old, I'm doing short sales, I'm doing bankruptcies, I'm going to court, to ask for judges for motions and stuff like that. Because my boss at the time was just overwhelmed, so I would go to the courthouse to file motions for him, whatever.
Yeah.
If everyone knew me already at the courthouse, so I would do that. And, but it came to a point that it was very overwhelming, and I started to take that pressure. I hated to see people suffering, losing their homes.
So it became overwhelming
crying.
for you to watch people suffering.
And I would go home and I would cry mostly every day. And I'm not a big crier per se. I always, well, we'll talk about that later. But I'm not a big crybaby.
Uh-huh.
And so I started intaking a lot of those emotions and just being very compelled to seeing people losing their homes and crying that they've lost everything. So at that point, we have a house in Houston. So I said, you know what? My dream is to be an attorney. This is why I became a paralegal. I wanted to get my foot in the door just to see what it's like to get the hang of things and to see if this is for me or not. I understand college is very expensive, and I knew that I was going to have to pay for it on my own because my dad, is raising 4 kids, and he's the only one that's working. My mom would work here and there, but mom would work. My dad, how he brought us up is that father provides for bills, mom works for shopping and for eating out. So,
okay.
we
That's a good plan.
Yeah, so vacations, spoiling the kids, that was my mom taking care of us.
Fantastic.
So everything that I know about good food, and she even signed me up to take etiquette classes. So
You got some class, right?
Yes, she worked at North Shore,
Uh-huh.
so she worked in Winnetka, and she would see that there's a different lifestyle, and she wanted her daughter to know. So I took etiquette classes, and my mama paid for that.
Nice.
So anyway, so go down to Houston. I said I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just overwhelmed.
Too much misery, too much pain.
Misery.
Everyone losing their shirts, right?
Yeah, it was very depressing. And so I decided to go down. My parents were already down there. They were like, they were losing their house here. It's upside down. We have well problems. We have septic problems. They have no idea. They were not educated on how to handle a well, how to do anything with a home. Our cars are being repoed. I mean, it was just a disaster. I mean, my house was like a car dealership from Jaguar to Cadillacs, and my dad would buy everything cash. So all of our money sitting there, trips and everything that, we lived a really good life, and him losing his job, we really saw how everything just came crumbling down.
The American dream became a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a reality for a lot of people that are not taught, not educated. So I went through all of that and with them, and so smart woman my mom was. She actually had saved up some money. She wasn't all about spending. She's not a big spender. She actually loves to save money. So she saved some money. We had a house in Houston. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go to University of Houston. I'm going to go down there to see what life is like. I just got to get out of this misery. I just hated being here. Unplug. And I did. And then Luigi called. He still called and said,
hey, come on back.
Hey, he's like, what's going on with my short sales? That law firm is falling apart without you. No one's answering the phone. No one's doing anything. So he calls me to his house, and I actually tell him I'm leaving tomorrow or something like that. It was like 2-3 days from the day that we were supposed to meet. And he tells me, come to my house. And that's where the first time I heard of Round Lake, because he lived in Round Lake.
Huh.
So I'm like, what the heck is Round Lake?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this town. So I go visit him, and he hands me a box of files and tells me, these deals are going to close because of you, because I know at the end of the day you were the one that was doing everything. So I don't care where you go, I will pay for a landline, I will pay for a fax line, because back then we were still doing DSL. It sounds crazy, but it wasn't that long ago. He's like, I'll pay for your cable, I'll pay for internet, whatever it takes. Take these files and close them, because I know you're going to do these short sales for me. And so, I'm like, okay, I didn't want to, but I said, okay, I can't let him down. Let me just finish these, and then I'll move on with my life.
So can we press pause right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm hearing, and I'm a big believer in this, that if you do a great job,
yeah,
even though you think nobody is watching,
oh, someone's watching.
Someone's watching,
yes.
They recognize it, and they value it.
Of course.
So this person recognized it, had the guts to call you up and make you an offer.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. And I was hesitant because I said, hey, I got to move on with my life. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I think
Too much misery.
Too much mystery. I think if I do real estate, I mean, if I become an attorney, I'm going to be a litigation attorney or a family lawyer. I said, I hate real estate. I hate people losing their homes. I said I wouldn't do it anymore. And he was just very persistent. So I ended up taking the files, and I had an office at my home, and I continued to work with him from being there.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, I think I was there maybe 7 months or something.
And so you were negotiating payoffs, you were running to the courthouse, you were doing whatever.
Well, I'm living in Houston.
Okay.
It was actually Tomball, so it's a north suburb of Tomball.
Okay.
So I'm going to school, I'm doing the short sales, and then still I'm like, okay, I need something else. So I enroll in real estate.
You need something else after
I need something
wow.
else. So
Girl.
I signed up for real estate classes. So I went to Champion Real Estate Academy in Tomball, Texas, and I got my license in like a couple weeks, maybe 6-7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Hardest test I think it's harder than Illinois. You go once, you have to go to FBI office to get fingerprinted. I mean, Texas doesn't play. You know, it's very
title insurance in Texas is very difficult as well.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
They're very
very tight. Different
very
nation.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're their own country, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
I love it down there. So I get licensed, and I just couldn't do the weather.
It's too hot?
It was too hot for me,
wow.
and I love hot. I
Okay.
love hot. That's why I'm very tan right now, because I love
but it
the
was
hot weather.
too hot.
It was too hot for me.
Wow.
But I think mostly it's just I got homesick.
Okay.
Yeah, I got very homesick. I thought that this was misery. It was misery being away from home. So I packed up my car. He actually called. Luigi
So you already had your license down there?
Yes.
And how long were you away from Chicagoland?
Close to a year.
Okay.
Yeah, close to a year. And he calls and tells me, hey, I'm opening up a Remax. This is my show. Here's an office for you. Here's a desk for you. Here's a salary for you. We'll make a lot of money. We need your help. I know I'm offering you short sale manager, office manager, whatever you want. Just come home, come back. I'll get you an apartment. I'll get you a car. He's like, what do I have to do to bring you back?
Fantastic.
And I said nothing. I said, just give me a job. And I literally, with $500 up to my name, I drove across the country by myself.
Amazing story. So that was 2010?
That was 2010, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
May 10th, 2010 is when I started at Remax United under Luigi and his partner, Gary, who were the owners of Remax United.
So would you say that, and speaking of mentors, was Luigi a mentor of yours?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Gary Aver, his partner, was my mentor. I always looked up to the men. I hate to say this, and that's why I'm all about women empowerment. I don't know why us ladies we get very insecure about other women being powerful, and we feel like another woman being strong and stepping up is here to take from your plate. Absolutely not. I have had more comfort, more growth, more inspiring stories from the men, and so when I sit in a table and I'm masterminding, I hate to say it, it's only with men. Because when you sit with women, it becomes a different story. And that's one of the things that I added to my speech when I became president of NAHREP, that I wanted to inspire women to not be that way. I think I'm opening up my story to show that someone said that I was entitled, or that I'm very entitled, or I was given things. I haven't been given anything in this life, aside from my parents sacrificing to come to this country. I have worked for everything that I have. Nothing was handed to me. I wasn't given one lead, and God is my witness on that. Every client that
Where
I
are the
have
leads?
closed,
Everyone wants to know, right?
oh, it's
They're
like
everywhere.
They're everywhere. Not one lead has been given to me for free. Either the lender partner wants you to give them business, or someone's going to refer you because they want more of your business, or it comes with a price. And we have to understand that this is the game. We are in a referral business, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know why there's a thing that because you're a woman, you're just giving things. I don't think that that's the case. We work very hard for what we
I
have.
agree completely. So Yvonne, what I hear is, out of all the people in Chicagoland that Luigi could have called, he calls this 20-year-old girl
Yes.
from Houston and says, come on back. So clearly you did something that impressed him, that he saw. So that is the part of the mix of it, is you step up, people notice, doors start opening for you, right?
And the one thing that he did tell me is that, and this is Luigi, I'm quoting him, I have common sense.
Wow.
He doesn't do people that are, I'm quoting him, he doesn't do stupid people.
I'm sure he's going to love you quoting him all
He's
the
going to
time.
love me quoting him. He said, I love the fact that I trusted you. You have common sense to figure things out on your own. I'm not asking you dumb questions. A dumb question would be, well, what do I do with this? And how like, call someone and figure it out on your own, like your boss is busy.
Yeah, go get it.
And you're putting pieces together, and now you're like mastering this that's been given to you. That's the difference with a task, with a job. If you love what you do, you're going to figure it out. I'm not the one that always calls for help. If I can't do something, then of course I'll ask.
Yeah.
There's no shame in asking for help. I think that's how we grow.
Yeah.
But if I can figure it out, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm not going to bother you. You're busy, right? You're out there getting the fish. I'm here butchering the fish, right? That's what.
Yeah, don't tell me, where do I cut it? Google it. Where do I cut the fish, Where's the meat?
That's the difference. And I think that it has to be that hunger in you of where's your vision for your life, where you're going, and how am I going to master what's being given in front of me. So
fantastic, Yvonne. So many life nuggets, I can tell you. I'm just
I have many of them.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point do you look at this opportunity that you have to be your short sale manager, your office manager, whatever you were, and you become an agent? At what point, how long did it take you to go from that to being a self-sustaining, self-producing agent?
Very scary. It took 4 years. So again, I'm rocking short sales. We did about 1,000 short sales.
But you're not generating someone else's. You're butchering the fish.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm bringing in my
I get
contacts,
it.
my
I get
family,
it.
and
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not the agent.
Right.
I'm not making,
Yeah.
7,000-8,000 on a commission. I'm, making a little money here and there, but it's great money. I'm 26 years old and I buy my first house, so
Amazing.
Short sales were good to me.
Yes.
I became a homeowner at 26, and thank God for that.
Absolutely.
It was a learning step. So 2014, February 14, they come, my bosses at the time sat me down and said, hey, so short sales are out of their, they're going away. Now you got to go sell, because at that point I had already gotten my license, because, I saw that coming, that change coming. So I said, okay, so what do I do? And they literally, I remember, and I'm quoting Gary if he's watching this, he said, take your floaties off and go swim.
Wow.
And that's what he said to me. And
so they pushed you.
Yeah, they're like, no, you're no longer manager. You're a Remax agent. You're paying your dues. There's a desk fee. You got, pay the $410 yearly membership. You're an agent.
They didn't hand you anything.
Take floaties off, go swim.
Huh.
And I said, oh my goodness, okay, let me go. I was baffled. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say.
This
I
is
called-
2011.
No, 2014.
Oh, 2014. Okay.
February
okay.
of 14.
I see.
And of course, I called my momager. My mom, she actually is, she's my best friend. I tell her everything. So I call my mom and Mom, this just happened. You know, I said, what do? I just bought a brand new car. I have a mortgage payment. I have no clients. I have no savings. I have nothing. I said.
And now no salary.
And now no salary. And I
and
said,
dues.
And dues and monthly dues. And I said, Mom, what do I do? And she said, don't worry, we'll pray about it. She said, is your heart at peace? And I said, absolutely. She said, you know, it's the right thing to do. And she said, okay, well, let's go. She said, well, we'll pray when you come home and you'll be fine. And it was the best decision I've ever made.
Okay, so what?
To go out of my comfort zone and push myself to, I don't know, it's just something, like, I think my mood went from 50 to like 150, because now I have a mortgage to pay. Now I have bills to pay. Now I have food that I have to put on the table. And I have no income, so now I have to hustle.
You know, another top producing agent said, when you get out of your comfort zone, that's when the magic happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like, so when was your first deal after that?
Like 4 or 5 weeks after, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you never
did
look, did you never look back?
I did rentals. I know some agents, I hate to say it because I have a few of them on my roster. I don't do rentals, you know. I closed a client that one of my first rentals in Round Lake. They rented a home for $1,400. They bought a $250,000 house with me this year, 6 years later.
Fantastic. That's the dream, right?
Why would you not take on a rental client?
Absolutely.
It's just a client that eventually will become a buyer for you.
That's fantastic.
So
that's great.
I just started hustling, and that's when I met my dear Carmen. I think it was in 2014 that I met her.
Okay, so she's been with you on the journey.
She's been with me on the journey. I can count a couple people that have been in my journey, and I call them dear friends, and they have changed my life, and she's one of them.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great testimony. So, okay, so at what point does Luigi actually sit you down and say, I want you to be my
sorry.
partner?
You asked how did I become an owner, right? How did I...
No, we're getting to that, I know. Yeah.
When did he sit down and, I'm sorry.
Yeah, when did he sit down and ask you, like, hey, I want you to, or how did that opportunity present itself to you?
So this actually was our second location. So I had been on the roster for United for my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
So he sat me down. This October will be 3 years. I realized that this morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been doing this 3 years now. Mm-hmm. So he talks to me, or actually around August 2017 is when he asked. He said, you know, franchise is up for renewal because our franchises are up for every 5 years. Mm-hmm. So he said, franchise renewal is up here. You know, my partner doesn't want to stay. He's actually considering, you know, just bringing all the business back to Wheeling. Now, at this point, I already have my assistant working for me, and she moved her family from Mundelein to Round Lake to be close to the office, to be here for me 6 days out of the week. Mm-hmm. So now I have a responsibility with her as well.
That's Nancy?
That's Nancy.
Yeah.
So now I have a responsibility with her, and I can't just get up and tell her, hey, we're leaving, we're moving 40 minutes south of here to go work. Because she doesn't drive. She drives, but she doesn't like to drive far, so I will stay here if she wants. Because I need her. Mm-hmm. So I said, just tell me, what do I need to do? And we sat down, we talked, crunched numbers, and you know, you have to apply to see if they'll take you. Mm-hmm. Also. Mm-hmm. So you have to go through the screening process through Remax, and then
So you went from producing to producing and recruiting.
Producing, recruiting,
and building and leading,
training, and
And so, what was that something that you really liked, was helping build into other brokers?
So so it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people at our other brokerage, they thought that I got paid extra for things that I did. Mm-hmm. I always consider my office my home. So I would plan Mother's Days, birthdays, buying cakes, and it just was in my heart to do that. Mm-hmm. I felt like I worked with my family. Mm-hmm. So for me to transition to being an owner, I inherited all these kids to me, I don't have children, but to me, it's like, this is my family. These are my kids. I have to take care of them. I feed them. I see how they're doing. How can I help you grow? How can I help you be successful? When's your birthday? Let's go celebrate. It's a relationship business, and your brokerage should care for you like you're their family, because we are a family at the end of the day.
That reminds me of the old saying that says, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. And you were behaving like an owner before you were an owner.
Yes.
Most people think, when I'm successful, I'll behave a certain way. But no, you behave the way and then you become successful. I mean, that's kind of, you actually act it before you become it in some ways.
And it just came naturally. It was nothing forced. It was nothing someone, again, told me to do. I think this is what Luigi meant, common sense. Mm-hmm. You're not told to do things. You just do them because it's in your heart to do that. And so it was a very natural transition. So we signed paperwork and we refranchised Remax United Round Lake to Remax American Dream Round Lake Beach, October of 2017.
Fantastic. And how many agents work out of this office now?
I have 22 agents.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank
Yvonne.
you.
Okay, so then you became involved with NAHREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So when did you start there?
2014.
Okay, you got started right away there.
Yeah. So
why?
I remember someone telling me that if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Ooh.
And I always looked up the NAHREP culture of how many successful people are involved. Now, a lot of the talk can be, well, they just party. This doesn't bring value to my business. It's not about that. You have to remember that you're in this room masterminding, sharing ideas, learning from people that are just like you, that are immigrants, have struggled, and are at the top. And how can you become that? How can I learn from one little nugget that you can take from a person that is successful, that's closing 200 deals a year? I want to listen to that person because I can probably do one little takeaway and it'll change my business, right? So 2014, I'm a bit, brand new agent. I, of course, signed up, and I had been signed up for a long time because my partner was president for 2 years.
It was a priority for Luigi.
And he always said, all of our agents are NAHREP members because we know the value of NAHREP. It's not just a club that you belong to.
It's not just party time.
It's not. And whoever feels that, call me and we'll sit down and I'll buy you coffee so you can actually learn what really NAHREP is about.
Right. And a celebration now and again is not a bad thing either for salespeople that are really hitting it, right? I mean, so it's not to say that there isn't fun being had.
It's a Latino thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring a mariachi. I'm not Mexican and I love mariachis and tequila.
That's
I'm not
great.
Mexican,
Yeah.
but I love that.
Uh-huh.
You want to celebrate everyone. And, Carmen was on the board, 14, right, I think? So, I mean, she's been giving and learning, and the connections that you make with people, it becomes, these are your friends in the industry, and it can be a very lonely place to be here. Mm-hmm. If you think that just being, I'm just here to close deals and not care about anything, you have to talk, you have to mingle, you have to go out of your comfort zone and network and learn from people. And whoever thinks that NAHREP is not the place for them, I feel very sorry for them, because they're really missing out on a great opportunity to become their best selves, because they're closing themselves up to thinking that this is just not the place for them. So I started volunteering, signing people at the door. At that point before, now you can apply to be a director. Back then, rule was you had to be invited to come interview. So I was nominated by a board of director, and that my first interview was the most nerve-wracking interview I've ever had in my life.
And when was that?
That was in 2015. So I was interviewed to become a director. I was invited to come, and I was very nervous.
So Ivane,
So-
you know, it strikes me too that you seem to have an abundance mentality. It's not like, oh, keep all our secrets or don't. I mean, there's enough
No.
for everybody in your mind, right?
There is, so I'm a big believer as well, and God's word tells me that how I give is how I receive.
Mm.
And that includes
Give freely.
give freely, right? And this shall be given to you, right?
Yeah.
Knock on the door, and the
Yeah.
heaven doors will be open to you. So that's the way that I do my business. That's the way I do my personal life. You know, you have to give to receive, and so that includes my time. And I think giving your time is the best show. It's the best way that you can show someone you love them and you care for them, and
That's
you
powerful.
care for the mission that you're doing is by giving someone their time, your time.
That's
you know.
fantastic.
Mhm.
And typically it's the people that you would look and go, they can't have time. They do.
Yes.
You want something done, give it to a busy person, right? Because they'll get it
it'll
done.
get done.
Yeah.
I think someone that says that they don't have time for something or for you, it's just an excuse. You know, there's plenty of time for everything in life, especially when it becomes a priority. If you're a priority to a person, to your business, to whatever it is, you're going to make time for that.
Okay, so Ivane, you go through the interview, you get on the board, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I'd have been devastated. If I didn't.
And then what? And so what's the impact been for you to go through that kind of leadership journey?
It's been very tough in the sense that, again, we're going out of our comfort zone. So I went from being a regular director to asking incoming president, who's a really good friend of mine. He asked me, we were in San Diego in a conference, Los Angeles, and he said, do you want to be my secretary for next year? And I said, for you, anything. What do I need to do? He said, well, you have to run, you have to nominate yourself. Most likely someone's going to run against you. So all of our positions that are, you know, on the executive board, they're not handed off to you. You have to show that you are able to run that and earn it. So I became secretary the first year. Following year, they asked me, would you be treasurer for me, the next incoming president? And I said, sure. Who am I running against? So I run against another director. I won treasurer, so I became the treasurer. Following year, which was 2019, I was approached and asked, would you be my, no, I'm sorry, 2018. I apologize, 18. Would you be my VP? And I said, you know, now mind you, no, this was, 18, right, Carmen? I'm like trying to think. I'm like,
So,
I was COVID.
it's all right.
And my mind is out of whack. So now being a vice president is a big commitment. That means that you're staying as president and immediate past president. So it's a 3-year commitment. And, you know, I had just become an owner. This is new to me. No one taught me how to run an office or do anything. I'm, you know, learning with all of my agents and with Luigi and everyone along.
New
me,
bills
you know.
to pay.
New bills to pay.
Yeah.
Lots of bills to pay, plus my own, and so plus my production, plus my team. So I said, you know what, if I don't go out there, then what could be the worst thing that can happen? So I run for vice president and I got elected. So that immediately became that I was president-elect for 2020, which is this year. So I got installed December of 19. I got installed president of NAHREP Chicago. So I have been I'm actually the only director on the roster that has done all 4 of the executive positions on the board.
Amazing. And so again, I just see how we doing on time?
No, we're great.
Okay,
yeah, we're
great. Amazing. So I see, you know, take small bites, do a good job, people will notice, and the doors continue to open up for you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a really good way to put it, small bites. I actually thought that I was just out here trying to conquer all. And I did. I felt that I started to just overly do too much, that I started to forget about myself. And because on top of running all of this, you know, Remax, NAHREP, my team, my production.
Your
I also
parents.
started my parents. I started doing rehabs. So I'm doing rehabs. I'm buying material. I'm running around, going to village to get permits. I had to just cut back a little bit.
And when was that? When did you realize that?
I realized that last year.
What were the signs for you?
I was just very tired. Very, very tired. And
started to lose energy, that dynamic energy.
I started losing the, how do I say this? I started losing the love for the things that I was doing.
The kind of zeal, right?
And I realized that it's because I actually had forgotten about myself in a way too. So in 6-7 years, I actually piled on 70 pounds too. I wouldn't even eat because I'm running around from appointment to appointment. No time to eat, no time to go to the bathroom, no time to drink water. I had breakfast with a girlfriend of mine yesterday, my best friend, childhood friend. And she said, Yvonne, like, you have sacrificed so much that I remember 2-3 years ago asking you, hey, come to the barbecue rib fest in the city. No, I'm with clients. Come to the air show. No, I'm with clients. She's like, you never put a little time in your calendar for yourself. You're always about other people and always about giving back. And now I'm doing that. I'm being a little selfish. Even if it's 30 minutes for myself, I'm taking the time. So last year, I'm acknowledging now it's kicking in. I'm going to be a president. I have to be a good example. And that includes the way that you feel, your energy, the way that you look. And so I actually started my weight loss journey on June last year, and I have lost 50 pounds so far.
Wow, Yvonne, way to go. Well,
but all I do is I started eating. I mean, I just started eating, and I drink a gallon of water a day, and that's it. It's just small things. Like you said, the small bites. It's 100% true.
Well, but I do want to acknowledge there is a time when you're trying to get it going that you're a little bit out of balance, and it's one of the only ways to separate yourself from kind of the pack. But you have to be conscious at some point and go, okay, I can't do this forever. It's unhealthy. I need to dial it back.
Yes.
So, as opposed to, it's hard to win a race if you never sprint. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I just look so comfortable in walking. I'm in perfect balance. Well, you came in last, But so there's a time where you have to put in that effort and maybe miss the air show or whatever. But that's not the rest.
Exactly. But it takes a sacrifice right now for a longer, return in the future.
Sure.
And that's why I do what I do to be able to, for my future, and for, where I'm headed to in life. I know that won't be forever, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're correct.
So I see so you mentioned that you're doing piano and your Peloton and things like that. So you have now taken some steps to build stuff into your calendar to bring life to yourself. Maybe just talk about that a little bit.
So these are, people, I mean, my instructor tells me that I'm like her oldest student.
Okay.
Most kids learning piano are 7-8 years old. My parents couldn't afford a piano instructor. I took cello. My dad, I remember him sacrificing, it was like $500 deposit to rent out the cello, and it took a paycheck of his to do that. And there was things that I always wanted to do, but my parents couldn't afford to do everything. So I said, okay, I'll do it one day. I always wanted to learn how to play tennis too, but that will mean like getting an instructor, going to a country club, doing this, and we can't afford those things, right? So it's never too late. I can do it now. They come to my house to teach me. Why not, right? I mean, I can afford to pay an instructor to come to my home. I can, my instructor for piano comes to my house.
And what has that done for you?
And it's silly because you may think, this is what activities that 8-year-olds do.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm learning a new skill, and it's something that I always want. It's a childhood dream of mine. So why can I, why not now? It's never too late to learn.
Never too late.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson, Yvonne, for everyone. It's never too late to learn. So what inspires you? Like, what's the future for you? What keeps you going in that way?
So, COVID came to put a lot of things into perspective. It was actually very hard for me emotionally this year, and I'm not afraid to speak on that, because I worked really hard to get to this point in my career, and now I can't do anything. Especially I'm speaking in regards to NAHREP, right? Now I can't have events. I can't.
Yeah, this is your time to be president and lead, and it's like, whoa.
And problems and problems and problems and and it's
Fears, anxieties, what do we do? Decisions that you have to make that some people think one way, other people think another way.
And, how we were just going to do Zoom events and do, I'm like, so stupid. You're not beginning now. We'll be fine. This is just a little thing, and seeing how many people have been impacted and sick and lost their jobs, it's a real thing.
Students not graduating,
not going to, I took my parents for the 4th of July away, and they didn't even want to sit 6 of us on a table because they were only limiting to 4.
Yeah.
It's real, it's life. So part of this me time is incorporating learning to balance both. Right. So I know that my time, has come to an end because basically my year is done as president.
Yeah.
We have a retreat next month, which is like in a week, and we get to plan out next year, but it's not my turn anymore. It's Mr. President who is coming after me.
Who's that going to be?
Robert Padron.
Okay.
So he's my VP right now.
Yes.
Excellent man. That he has really had my back during these hard times, and everyone on my board I absolutely adore. Tanya, Ernesto, Mimi, Luna, everyone on my board, they're a little piece of me, they're amazing. And now we're planning for his year, so I feel happy that even though this happened and my planning didn't come to light, or the fruits of it, of all the planning that I did, because I planned this for 5 years. I like to small bites. I don't plan 10 years. I plan 5 years out or 3 years out. Anything that I do in life, and it didn't happen. So I think I struggle with the fact that I have control of how I react to things and how I can take things, but I have no control of what's happening around me. And letting go of that and learning
of the result or whatever
letting go of letting go of the fact that I am not in control.
Yes.
I'm a control freak, and I can say it. I don't think I would be where I am if I wasn't. And anyone that is very successful, unfortunately, will tell you we're very controlling. We'll get up in the middle of night and finish that email because it's in the back of our mind. We don't stop. I woke up at 4 thinking about how I'm going to send postcards to all my listings. I just do that, and I take notes and I do emails. It's just our mind doesn't stop, right? Yeah. Which is a bad thing, right? Because you should be sleeping at 4 in the morning. But anyways, I learned that, again, I'm going to control how I react to things, even if I can't control everything that's happening around me. And if it makes me happy that I gave it my best, then that's what's important. So future for me is just, again, continuing to build, other businesses that we're starting, and, continuing to grow, become a really good brokerage to all of our agents, continue to, expand the American dream. And, that's my 5-year plan.
That's awesome. So, we're so inspiring. So we're in this time now where, people are upset about various things. How are you feeling about it? Or what's your message? Or what do you take from that? And, what is your message to people when...
Who are upset about what?
So they're talking about, whether it be Black Lives Matter or, opportunities that some people have that others don't have and that kind of thing. What's your, you have a powerful position in the sense that you're female, you're a child of an immigrant, you
are an immigrant herself. I am.
Okay, you are. You're an immigrant yourself.
Yeah.
And did you graduate from college?
No, I didn't finish.
Okay, you didn't finish. So
I'm paralegal, but
yeah. So by all rights, if you looked at your roster, you would go, yeah, I'm not so sure that girl's going to make it. You know what I mean? So
no.
Well, I'm just saying though, if you look at just on
yes,
paper,
me,
right?
yes.
Yeah. You just look on paper, that's what you would think.
Yes.
But you prove them wrong in some way. So what's your just feeling about this time? What's the message? I know that everyone has a different experience, and I'm just interested in yours.
So, the reason why, and I'll go back to this, the reason why I didn't finish college is because either I worked and took my family out of the hole that we were in, or I went to college. It was either that, and I chose my family. 100%.
That's
and
a great choice.
And I would do it
That's
all over.
Fabulous
and
choice.
I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
Everyone that's angry, if we're going to be angry, and I think being cooped up at home doesn't help either.
Yeah.
This whole situation is very frustrating, and you know, my father actually had a heart attack a few weeks ago, and I was mad that they didn't even let me in the door at the ER. I couldn't see him. I waited 7 hours in my car for someone to come and get me. Now you tell me your parent, is ill, and you can't go in and see them. Now all these riots are coming. I'm rushing to my office. They're rioting here that they're gonna, you just fear, because now I'm thinking at it, this is my other house. My office is my house, and
This is
someone
your business.
can come
This is your dream.
and someone can come and
Wreck
damage it,
Yeah.
wreck it. It's heartbreaking. But I came from a communist country. I came from bullets being thrown and my house being shut up by the government, helicopters, and I share this with my board too, because a lot of people think that everyone has an easy life, and the thing and this is a hard thing that we're going through. Yes, it's a hard thing that we're going through. I think it needed to happen for people to listen. Something has to happen for people to listen. But I think all of us need to do our own search and actually really realize how important it is to go out there and vote, and really not follow the masses or follow what media is telling you. Do your own research. Follow your gut on who it is that you're voting for. Don't put people because they may seem popular, or they're, they're trending on Twitter. Follow your heart and look at what they're doing, from your congressman, from your judges locally, for your property taxes. I mean, us as citizens of this world, we need to have a responsibility, and us realtors too, to educate our clients. And we are in the forefront talking to people about this stuff. And I think that we need to just listen to a bigger voice and understand that this may be something bigger that is happening. It's not a virus. It's not riots. There's something bigger going on, and we need to open up our eyes and do our search and go out there and vote. Yes, and we need to be the change. And my heart goes to anyone that has lost a relative or a family member to COVID, and whoever was affected by the riots. My heart goes out to them. It's a very hard thing that we're going through, but we're gonna be fine. But again, education and doing your research and going out there and voting. I think that's the best advice that I can give to anyone that's listening. That's
great advice, Yvonne. Okay, we're wrapping up. So I just want to say, this has been a wonderful time for me.
Thank you.
Words are coming to my mind in describing you, like courageous, a winner, hardworking, tough, gut and grit, taking advantage of opportunities that come before you, a salesperson.
I'm a salesperson.
Yeah, but actually just beautiful example of a salesperson in many ways, a great child to your parents. I mean, there's so many things that we come away with, and a leader, and leading by example, really, and sticking your head up and having people notice it. And so it isn't this idea of pick me. I want trying to scramble your way to the top or whatever it is. It is just doing a good job, showing up every day, and the doors open up. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, and I really appreciate you saying that. And in this business, when we see someone that is successful, okay, I'm successful. Call it that, right?
Yes.
They may think that just because she's successful, you're not going to be successful. you're standing behind her shadow. You are, and these are things that are being said, you know. I don't think that that's true.
No.
And like you said, you cannot speak ill of someone to make you shine brighter, to make you be a better salesperson. Get up and do everything that you do every day. Become a better person that you were yesterday. I want to be a better woman that I was yesterday. I'm not competing with anyone else, When you put love and effort to everything that you do, it's just like the doors are just going to open and that opportunity is going to present itself and people are just going to be attracted to you. It's like light, you know. Bugs are not attracted to darkness, right? They're attracted to light. Yeah. And that's what we should be every day. It's light in someone's life. Yeah,
and I love it that you weren't afraid to get into a room with people that you viewed as more successful than you. You know what I mean? Because that's where the action is. That's where the learning, all the stuff happens that helps you to become a better person. If you're the average of the 5 people that you're hanging around with people that are better than you, right? And all of a sudden you start to rise up.
So, and it happens at Remax, Remax, they have these, depending on the amount of volume that you do, you get invited to be in a closed mastermind session. I'm the youngest person in those rooms, and it's so admirable to be and humbling that I'm sitting in a room with people that are making over $1 million, $2 million in commissions a year.
That's
and
great.
Are producing 500 units a year and are sitting there telling you, okay, this is what I do. So you tell me, why can we share what we do when someone is at that scale and are not ashamed of it? Why? It's their experience. It's knowing that we're in a different market and you are Steve and I'm Yvonne and she is Carmen and we're all very special and individual and there's a client for all of us out here. We're not here taking from anyone. We're not here competing. We're working together.
Plenty of room at the top.
Even though they say it's lonely at the top.
That's good.
It is lonely at the top, but
come join us, right?
It's okay.
All right. Thank you.
No, it's there's plenty of room for all of us.
Yeah, and it's not even the top, right? We're all just helping each other climb the mountains of our life together, really,
Exactly.
and our own journey and getting behind people with their journey and being empowered for your own.
And everyone's in their own process.
Totally.
Everyone's in their own lane.
It's so true.
You're asking me what my 5-year plan is. What's your 5-year plan? You see what I'm saying? We're in the same industry, but you're telling me how you grew up in Round Lake and how you went to high school here. I didn't, but I'm here with you. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
We're all in a different lane, but we're all going to come together.
Totally.
And I think I'd rather have many friends in this industry than have many enemies. And our industry is so small. We need to really be nice to each other and, and have each other's back.
So I'll tell you a cool story, and we'll end on this cool story. Okay. So I met my wife when I was 12 years old here in Round Lake. Okay, and I actually drove to St. Joe's, the Catholic school. Yeah. And so I was stretching. Where the first time I ever saw my wife, she was 12. I was 12. I was stretching, and I was playing for Round Lake Spartan football.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I had my legs spread, I was standing up, and I had my helmet on, and I was actually stretching so that my head was down, and I was actually looking upside down at my wife. Okay, that's the first time I saw her. But what I realized today was that where I was actually stretching is the actual altar where I got married to my wife. That's where I was standing, actually, because they actually built a church now. The old church was in the front of the building, and they built a church right where I was stretching. And so, who'd have known, who'd have thought, just that kind of weird destiny like that. And so there's so many moments today that are so special that we kind of miss. But then we look back and go, wow, that was really powerful, or this happened. So just be awake and alive and conscious daily of all the wonderful things that are happening, right?
It's like the Notebook for you.
Yeah, a little bit like the Notebook, And I was the guy crying with the blanket for some of my life as well.
Why? Real estate is real, guys. Why did I watch it for the first time this past weekend?
Oh my God!
I've never seen
It's one of my
movie.
favorite movies of all time.
Oh my God.
I've seen it 50
Get your
times.
Kleenex out. Oh my God, it's so fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So, Yvonne, Carmen, thank you so much.
Thank
This was
you.
a great session from People Not Titles podcast. Today we met a really great person. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.